episode 11 of Unplugged with Nicki Marie, season 2. I have the funny OG. Listen, I love that I'm sharing the actual intro with people because you and I have never spoken in real life.
Never.
The DMs.
Yeah.
And the I love your content.
Yeah.
We got to do
stuff
something.
like that. Yeah. Yeah. Not only recently. Yeah.
Right. Very recently. But how I know you is I want to give you this credit. You were OG in this shit.
Thank you. Thank you. Since 2019. Yeah.
Okay. So wasn't it One Funny Mama?
I was One Funny Mommy and I had to change my name.
Okay.
And I did it. I just put my name. Yeah.
And you were just sharing these rants and mom talk and wife talk. And like, I just remember always seeing you.
Yeah. My sister made a page. Yeah. She made a page and she just was like, let's laugh. They have a group text message. I don't want to be part of that. So we had the face filters. And we did the face filters back and forth, but my sister goes, let's just make a page, just us, me, my cousins, my sister, like that, just to laugh and joke around. So you don't get the alerts all the time. And we could just use the filters on the app. So it was just us. That was it. And then strangers started to follow. And I was like, who is this? Who is this? My sister was like, this is weird. This is weird. And I was like, I know. Who are these people? And then strangers started to follow. And then it became a thing.
Wow. All right. So was this Instagram, Facebook? Like, where was this happening?
Instagram. Then I went to Facebook. And then I never wanted to join TikTok because I didn't know what it was. I joined it and I never went on it. Yeah. And then when I went on it, I was like seeing things and I didn't understand it. So I just posted a video. I left it. I didn't do anything on it because I don't know what I'm doing on social media anyway. I post a video and that's it. And it became a thing. So I just kept doing it.
Listen, we know why it's a thing. Before we even started recording, you and I were a shit show to get you on the device.
Yeah.
The device, the sideways, the vertical, the horizontal. What does that mean? What is it? You said, what is a web browser?
I don't know what that is.
But I
don't know anything. And listen to me. I don't know anything in life. I know a phone and that's it. My friend got me an iPad. She's like, I have no devices. I don't have a ring light. I don't have none of that stuff. It overwhelms me. Whatever I have in front of me is what I use. I'm not purchasing things to do things. It's overwhelming. So my friend got me that. My friend got me these. I have this in my ear all day long like I'm a doctor. She got me these. She goes, you have to stop because I'm always on speakerphone talking. And she's like, you have to she was trying to upgrade me to like real life.
And how does that feel? Like what? So I want to get to know you. I mean, realistically, why I started this podcast was, and you have social media growth and all of a sudden you have contact to people that would never respond to you potentially if you didn't
want to know you. Yeah.
No one would. So now I get to be in your DMs and be like, oh my God, Lisa, I love your content. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So, and now I want to take it and share it because I just want to get to know you. Like, how did this happen? How do you feel about it? Like, I want to know, let's start with this. What's your age and where are you from?
I'm 42.
Okay.
I live on Staten Island now, originally born and raised in Brooklyn. Now I live on Staten Island. That's who I am. I was a stenographer for years and years and years, and that's my real job. And then this became a thing. And they asked me if I wanted to be a comedian. And I was broke because I had to leave my job because life happened. And I had to leave my job. And I was like, I'm not a comedian. I'm not a comedian. So the 10th phone call, the guy goes, we're going to pay you, right? And I said, well, then I guess I'm going to be a comedian. I was broke because I had to leave my job. And I called my sister. I was like, Jay, I got to be a comedian. She goes, what? I said, they're going to pay me. She goes, all right. And that's how I became a comedian.
And so did you have to leave the courtroom job because of social media or were there just other life circumstances?
Life circumstances caused me to leave my court reporting job that I did for 20 years. I was a stenographer for 20 years. I freelanced and then I worked in criminal court, but they only hold your position for so long. So I had to get an extension. Then they were like, you got to come back. I was like, I can't. So I was like, you know what? Let me retire because I can't do it. And I had no job. I made myself do jobs to work. I made myself do hair. I was straight as a pin. I made cards. I made myself spray tan people. I made myself just do everything just to work, to have, I went from having a beautiful job to life happens and I couldn't work. And then I became a comedian because they said they were going to pay me. Never aspired to be a comedian, never wanted to be a comedian, never thought I was funny, never said, oh, I have to do this. But it became a thing. They offered me the job. And now I'm on my third tour.
I
I did it.
freaking love that because it's
Thank
like
you.
we could have these things happen. And I don't know how much you know about me, but this all happened for me because of my divorce.
There you go. Like,
Because I didn't have plans on being a public figure, or
no.
I was just always this person in my friendship group.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Right.
then
And
real
now you
life
get to,
happens and then you go with it.
you
How old are
go with
you?
it. 47.
47. It's a different, I feel, different generation, maybe. We had to figure it out. We always had to figure stuff out. I didn't make excuses. I set examples. I had to do it. I couldn't make excuses in life for anything. So I
Right.
had to do what I had to do. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I did it.
You
I didn't,
find a way.
that was it. You found a way. There was no option but to find a way in life. You just figured it out. You
Yes.
figured it out.
You figured it out, and your kids get to see that. So how old are your kids?
My son is 7 years old.
So my son is 8, and that
Oh,
we have the
wow.
Dog Man books that are propping up your iPhone right now. We
And the
have that
cat kid
collection.
and cat kid and the sorry game.
Is he going to see the movie? The Dog Man movie's coming out, or did come out.
We
It was on
saw
the
it. We saw that. We
okay.
saw that. Yeah,
How
we
was
saw
it?
that already. It was good. But the
All right.
movie that was adorable was Minecraft.
Okay. Good
Because
to know.
it wasn't like it was like a funny, like they had like references to be funny for adults, I guess you're sitting there too. It was good. Yeah, it was good.
All
Yeah,
right. So your son has seen you grow up with this.
with this. Yeah,
So tell me about that as a motherhood, because I love that we're having this conversation. A lot of people, I think, so I just got hosted at Disneyland, and that was the moment
God
for me,
bless.
probably for you, having an audience in front of you watching you as a
Yeah,
comedian. You're like,
no
holy
idea.
crap.
Sometimes it hits you like, what's going on here? Uh-huh.
Yes.
Hmm.
So being hosted by Disneyland was probably like my pinnacle moment
That's
as a creator,
amazing.
where I was like, what
That's
is happening? But it
amazing.
also changed my perspective on content creation. I think as a 47-year-old, a lot of times I'm like, oh, it's just silly. I'm riding the wave, and I make it sound like it's like,
I do the same thing. Just like, but you know what it is? It's not that you're doing it to make it sound silly. It just became a part of your life. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. This
yes,
is what I do now because I'm
yes,
always thinking of the next thing I'm going to have to do in life. Because we
yes,
always had to keep going and doing things. So I was a stenographer. Now I'm a comedian. This doesn't work. What are you going to be next? I'm already on to what am I going to be next? And you don't know. You just don't know.
1000%, thousand
Yeah.
percent. So,
Yeah.
so being a mom,
Yeah.
what does your son feel about it?
To him, it's normal because ever since he knows this is what I'm doing, I go to my shows on the weekend, I'm home, and he just knows it is that. I do my things. I try to do everything when he's not around. Like, not that I do everything when he's not around. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I mean, this isn't like a 24-hour job. I make a couple of videos, I'll draft them, I'll post them, whatever, and things like that. It's not like I have to be whatever, but something like this, I'm on with you now. He understands I'm doing this for an hour. It's just normal. Or if I'm
Yeah.
on TV, he'd be like, it's not, oh my God, Ma, you were on TV. It's just, oh, I'm on TV. You know what I mean? Like I was just
Yes.
on Tamron Hall and it was like, oh, it's normal. It's not
Yes.
anything. I mean, not
Yes.
that I'm this big thing because I'm not, but the little things that I do in life to us are just things that I do. That's
Right.
it.
But
Yeah,
also, like, you just saying you're not this big thing, like,
I'm not.
there are, I know, but that's why people love you, first of all, by the way you say it. But the amount of young people that want to do this for a living, that this would
Yeah,
be their dream case scenario.
yes,
I think
yes,
I'm starting to change my tune on that, where my son, we got home, he's 8, he wanted like a little vlogging camera, like one of the
yes,
20 something year old guys that was on the trip. And this guy was awesome.
yes,
And his content is positive and
yes,
he's creative.
yes,
And so I gave him one of my old cameras and I set it up with the little mic. And I'm like,
yeah,
I think my tune is kind of changing, where you're in a world right now where you could be creative and make a living out of being creative.
yeah. Well, the thing is, I come from, and I'm sure you do too, an old school generation. So everything is very old school and you don't put yourself out there and you don't do this. When I opened my page, it was like, what are you doing? And I said, and my sister came here because it was a big deal. And she goes, we're doing this. We're having fun. Leave us alone. My father, leave it. We're having fun. He goes, well, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So I just put myself on there. And
Yeah.
I'll put my mother on there and my sister on there. Once in a while, my friends, because my mind frame and the generation I grew up with, you don't trust anybody, especially somebody on the thing. You don't even know them. So it's a different generation. So it became the norm of it, but not normal because you don't do that. You know what I mean? It's just a different generation. It's just a different generation.
Yeah.
Different times, different times, different times.
Absolutely.
This is
Absolutely.
all
Why,
everybody does now. So this is normal. Back in the day, you didn't even, you tell people where you were going. My
yes.
mother, don't tell anybody where we're going. It was a secret. Why was it a secret? Don't tell anybody what goes on in this house. It was different. Now you share your things.
Yeah.
Different. Different. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I get that. And it's
Yeah.
it's also where, yeah, you and I grew up in a time where we graduated high school and it was like, what are you studying? What are you
What are
going
you
to
going
go
to school
into?
for?
And
Yeah.
I was
What are
like,
you going
I
to
am
school
not
for?
book smart. I guess I'll be a teacher because
Mm-hmm.
I just thought
Yeah.
I love kids and I love people and I can coach and be with my kids when I have them. It's like
Yes.
society
Everybody
puts so,
followed the same
yes.
tune in life.
Yeah.
You follow the same tune. You were raised, you did this, and that. That's
Yep.
it. That's what you did. Yeah. That's just what you did.
I
Same gen,
also, aren't you glad though that we didn't have this when we were like in our 20s?
I'm glad. And you know what? And I really feel like this, and I love what I do. And I love it so, so, so much. But social media is the devil's playground. Don't trust nobody. Don't believe nobody. I feel like people prey on people. See me, I don't bother with nothing. I do what I got to do and I get off. But people that's it, because you can't believe people. There's a young kid on there that they'll sell the sun, moon, and stars, and that's how tragedy happens. So they got to be smart. They got to be smart about it. And I'm from an old school generation where my father had me think everything about everybody. I didn't go to somebody's house if they had a brother. You didn't go anywhere near their house. If they had their father, you didn't go anywhere near their house. Like, that's how I grew up. So it's unfortunate, but the kids today aren't realizing that this is, who's behind. You don't know anybody or
Right.
anything. You don't.
Right.
You
Now,
don't.
and there are a lot of parents that I have to give the benefit of the doubt to where I'm like, oh my gosh, the knowledge that I have of online,
Yes, you
thank
see a
God I
lot.
have it because I do see some of my kids' friends. I know that their parents don't know the stuff that I
That's
know,
going on. And I say
right?
it.
They got the unattended iPads and they just think,
Yes.
oh, it's
It's not.
not.
That's why
It's
you
not.
see tragedy with this stuff. And a lot of people, even though they say it, a lot of people don't really see as much. Now, I worked in criminal court also. So this was a thing back in the day too, but not like now. We didn't have that much access now, the apps and you want to be a model, come meet me. So what kid is not going to go? And it's scary. It's a scary world we live in,
The grooming and
you
the
know?
Roblox stuff and the links
Yes.
and the,
And the
yes,
headphone things, talking to straight, like it's not. Yeah, it's a
no,
lot. It's a lot.
no,
It's a lot.
right.
Different
It
world.
is. I want to know about your comedy show. So, like, what is it to you? What's it like? Take us through
Well, when I
that.
first started my first comedy thing, I had 4 shows in Avenel, New Jersey. This was way back when I first started, and I just kept showing up to shows because they paid me. So I didn't call myself I did not call I'm doing this since 2019, 2020. I did not call myself a comedian until this tour. I never considered myself a comedian. I didn't practice. I didn't put in the work to do it where I'm practicing to be a comedian, doing these little clubs. I didn't do things like that. So I would never take the title from somebody that calls themselves a comedian, that they aspired to be it. Because anything you aspire to be in life, you're working for it. I just made videos and it became a thing. So my first tour was unnamed and I just didn't know what I was doing at all. So I just showed up, got my check, and left. My second tour, into it, I go, what are we going to do? And I go, maybe we should name it like something. Because if people do that are comedians, I named it the I'm Done With It tour. So then I was like, all right, still didn't consider myself a comedian. This tour is the Good For Us tour. And now I have now I kind of know what I'm doing. I could become any job. That's how I grew up. If you're going to pay me, I'm going to play. I'm from Brooklyn. I become the job. You know what I do? That's what I did. So now I consider myself a comedian because now I'm on tour, my third tour. It's official, Good For Us. And the shows sell a lot of the shows, not all, I'm not going to be that one because I don't like to do that, to say all those things like that, but they sell out. I'm like, if all these people are coming to see me, they got to find me funny. I don't find myself funny, but they got to find me funny. So now I'm a comedian on tour. Now I consider myself a comedian. Yeah, I would never
Yes.
take that title, but that's just the type of person that I am. When I made myself do hair. I don't know how to do hair. I made myself do hair. I made cards straight as a pin. I even named myself, and I would go and do people's hair, blow it out, curl it, an updo, because I needed the money, and I did
Yeah.
it. I became the job. Yeah,
I love that. I love that about you.
yeah,
Like just hearing that too is just like it's a type of grit that you just want your kids to have. Like
yeah. I hope.
realistically,
I hope that you
yeah, like
figure it
figure
out.
it out.
When
And that's
times
that.
get
So
hard,
the
you
way I
figure it
grew
out.
up, yeah, the way I grew up was very much my mom's side is Italian. And
Hmm.
my mom is, I bet you if we did, Lisa, like the 23 and me, we'd be like this much
I'm
Italian. But
sure.
my
I'm
mom's
sure.
entire personality is Italian. Her dad was like on her shit for everything.
Yes,
And
like my
now she
father.
nagged me and my brother. We called it
Hmm.
nagging.
Yeah.
She was on us for everything. And now we're both adults and we're like, thank God mom was that way.
Yes, my father. I
Like,
used to go, he's crazy. We used to cry, but we had to be home 5 o'clock every night. He didn't care if you were 25. He didn't care. You had to be home. And he was like, we thought he was crazy. I'm never going to be like him. But now I see why he was that way. I didn't have a lot of life experiences because of him, because he was just off the wall. But that's why I'm very to myself. I have a couple of friends, because I'm always my mind. He always made me think just the way that I grew up. It was different. It was different. You weren't allowed to do anything. You weren't
right.
allowed to do anything. I wasn't allowed to do nothing. And
So
that's
how
how
do
he
you
made.
feel? How do you feel about the fact that you're selling out? Is it like a mom's night out? Is it a girlfriend's night out? Like who is
9 out of 10 times I have my shows 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because it's nice. You go early and then you come home. And then that's it. Or if it's a show that it's away and I have to go away, I go away and then I come back. But 9 out of 10 times, they recently put some of my shows when it's bigger amounts of people, like the St. George Theater. I'm going to be there in October. They do it like 7 o'clock at night on a Friday. That's like, oh my God, 7 o'clock on a Friday, because I don't do stuff like that. The guy that opened up for me one day, I was hysterical laughing. He goes, I've never seen a show sell out at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday.
baby?
So he
That's
goes,
where I would
no, so
be.
he goes, this is like a Kohl's convention, like the Kohl's store with the cat. He goes, because I can't believe this, because people they don't usually do 1, 2 o'clock, but it worked for me. So that's why I did it. And it works for the crowd. You got work the next day. You got to get up the next day. Because I say to myself, who really wants to go out at 9 o'clock at
Not
night?
me.
No,
Not
me
me.
neither. I'm
I
exhausted by
literally
that
had
time.
this conversation with someone. I said, I don't want to go do night things.
No.
Give me a late morning
Yes.
brunch,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then I'm
Yes.
done. I'm
I do night
pajamas at
things.
9.
I do night things once in a while,
Yeah.
whatever, go out tonight, blah, blah, blah. But this is my job. So like, I don't want to be 9 o'clock, 10. It doesn't make any sense to me. And the people that are my friends on here that come to see me, I don't think they want to come out 9, 10 o'clock at night. We
Love
like the
that.
1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock, then you go home and you have the whole day to do whatever you want. It's different. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
your upcoming shows are where? Because I'm like, I want to go. I want to
Well,
go
whatever
see
one you
you.
want to come to. I got June 20. I have a residency in Villa Roma Resort, June 22nd. Then one show sold out. We opened up another one that's almost sold out in Rutherford, New Jersey. I got June 29th, Suffolk Theater sold out. I got Colchester, Connecticut, the 19th. I got Tom's River, one show sold out. We got another one the 20th. I have the link is in my bio for all my shows. But anyone you want
Okay.
to kind of come to, just tell me. You just come.
Yes.
Pull
I
over
hope
a chair.
everybody checks that out. You're
Oh,
just
thank
so
you.
funny. I've just always
Thank you.
appreciated your
Same.
delivery
Same.
and the wife stuff is
Yeah,
hilarious.
just
So I'm
everything.
divorced. So
Okay.
I love the husband wife stuff
Yes.
because it's so real.
Yes.
So what do
Yes.
you think has been your like biggest hit?
Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
don't think anything is my biggest hit. I got to be honest with you. And when we talk and people say, oh, this is so, I don't see it like that. I
Yeah.
really, really don't. Like I go, like, and somebody says to me, like, oh my God, I'm like, yeah, that's wonderful. It's great. And I'm so appreciative and I'm so grateful. But I think that it's just, I've been through so much in life. And I say to myself, I'm just grateful to have a job. I'm grateful to do this. I'm never like, oh my God, this is my best thing yet. I've never been like that to myself. I never did. And I've made accomplishments. I was a stenographer. That was a big accomplishment for me. It was a 2-year school. I finished it in 13 months because I had to get out because it was too expensive. But I never said, I did this. And I'm just not like that. I never dote over myself. I just don't. I never did. We just don't. I'm not like that. Like, this is my biggest thing yet. Or I just don't. I'm just wake
Right.
up every day. I really do. Life changes you. Life and circumstances and situations change you where I can't describe it, but like makes me more like, thank you God for waking me up. Thank you God for my feet on the ground. I'm doing this, but I don't ever dote over myself. So I'll never be like, oh, this is my best thing I'm doing yet. I never do it. I never.
Do you feel like that's our generation is like that? Because
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Our generation was like that. It also has to do with life experiences and things you go through in life, and people in your life that didn't have such nice things to say to you, and you would hear it. So in the back of your mind, even though I'm like saying to myself, wow, I became a comedian and I'm selling out shows. In the back of your mind, you say to yourself, don't say that, because it could all end in a day, or you're always thinking of those things, or, well, this is only happening because of it. Like you hear the noise from life experiences, not social media. I don't care what
right.
people say to me on the page. I rather people come say mean things to me, because other people will take it. Like, people don't understand. And even when they comment on social media negative things, you have no idea how I grew up. I had two sisters. Nobody could hurt me more than them. And they've done, we fought all the time, and real life experiences just change you. And they
Yeah.
never make you be like, good for me, I did that. You just don't. You just don't.
Yes.
You just don't.
What would you say to someone who is in our age bracket,
Mm-hmm.
who is, because I get this all the time, and I really never know what to say, because I come from that gritty
Yes.
mentality like you were like, just figure it out. Like, that's what I say to my kids, even they're 8 and
Yes.
10. And I'm like, you got to figure it out.
You
Like,
got to get through
you don't want to
this.
do your homework tonight. You got a test tomorrow. You don't want to study. You'll
You're going to
figure it
suffer.
out.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to sit here and coddle you through this moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are women who either have been through divorce, been through loss, recovering from a horrible cancer,
Yeah. Horrible.
and they just don't know what to do next.
Right.
What would you say to someone who's like stuck and wants to do something, but they're afraid of it? It could be content. It could be like, hey, I want to share my cooking,
Well, in
or
life,
starting a new job. Yeah.
what I've learned, because people say, how can I listen to me? If we all had the key to the city, we'd all be opening the door. We all don't know. So in life, if it's not hurting you or hurting somebody else, take a chance. But if it doesn't go in the direction that you're thinking it's going, you can't let it destroy you. Because a lot of people say, I want to do what you do. I'm funny too. I say, go, good for it. Go for it. Good for you. Good for you. But if it doesn't do anything for you, because a lot of times things don't do stuff, you can't let it destroy you. You got to just try something else. Get your niche. Find something in life that does something for you. At the end of the day, you're your own best friend. Everybody could say, oh, this, and that. You're your own best friend. At the end of the day, I sit by myself. You sit by yourself. We talk, we this, we that. So you have to do what makes you happy. And if doing something is going to bring you down even more, if it doesn't go in the direction you're thinking it's going to go, don't do it. Don't. Don't find something else to do. Keep looking till you make yourself happy.
Yeah.
I can't say, oh, well, you should do that. Or I say it all the time. Go on, do that too. Make the videos, do this, do that. But sometimes they just don't work out in that way for you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Sometimes they do. It's everybody's taking chances in life. When we got out of school, we graduated. We want to be this. If it didn't work out, you found something else to do. It's just life. It's just life. It's not always going to work out.
Right. It's not, and it's okay. I think for me, starting the podcast was like something that I talked about for 3 years. And I was like, I can't, I don't know. Right, 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 right,
I don't
right,
know
right,
if it's
right.
going to work. Yeah.
Right. And then I started it, and I had nothing prepared.
Yeah. And you
And
swing it.
season one was like my practice run. Like, I almost pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And now season two, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to have fun doing it the way I used to. And I won't continue on
Right.
unless I'm literally just having conversations that I want to have.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
people want to listen, great. If they don't, like,
Yes.
I had fun having the conversation.
That was me on my first tour. I walked out and I used to go, hi,
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
I knew nothing. They go, you don't have a set? I go, a set? I don't even know what I'm doing. I literally was there for the paycheck because I needed the money. Literally. And I would go out on stage and the shows would sell out and I'd go there and I'd travel and would just walk out and say, hi guys, and just try to think of something to say. I had no idea what I was doing, but I became the job because I needed to. And it was the only thing offered to me at that point. What else was I going to do? What else was I going to do? I had no
Right.
money. What was I
So
going to do?
what do you feel like you've how have you like grown most in it now from like first show to your last show?
Well,
What's the
now
biggest
I have more of an idea because I become the job. Whatever I got to do, I became it. So now I have a little bit of an idea. Okay, there's got to be a beginning, a middle, and an end. You got to start with this, end with this, and you start to put the pieces. That's literally what I did. You start to put the pieces together. When you hear people something's not working, you switch. You have to literally have myself, I feel. You got to have a mind that could switch to something else in 0.5 seconds. And to make people laugh, it's hard because if you're standing there in a room full of 400 or 500 people and they're looking at you and you're not making them laugh, what are you doing?
right?
So they could stare at you like this. What are you going to do? So you have to know that you got to go out there and people want to laugh. That's what they're there for. They don't want to shop. They don't want to talk. They want to laugh. So you have to just figure it out.
All
Figure it
right.
out.
All right. Have you always been that way in your like family and with your
Yes.
friends?
I always figured everything out. I always figured everything out. But what I started doing in life is I was always the one figuring out as I got older. I says to myself, because you go through experiences, you learn lessons in life. I can't be like that to everybody anymore. Only selected few in your life because you get older and you realize things and life experiences. So there's only selected people that I can say, I'll do anything for you. And I will. You know what I mean? You learn that in life. But I've always been the one to figure something out, to figure it out. When I went to school to be a stenographer, 2 years ago, I was like, I got to get out. I got to get out sooner than that because I can't afford it. I worked at a pizzeria. I was like, I can't afford it. So what did I do? I figured it out.
Yes.
I figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did it. Yeah.
And same thing with comedy and same thing with your personality. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
this makes sense. Someone told me there's money in it. And
Yes.
now what do you love most about what you get to do and doing the shows?
I love the fact that I get more freedom in life, meaning I could drop off and pick up to school. I could sit here and do this with you today. I have more freedom than when I worked because I worked morning till night and overnights printing out. I was a different job. I loved my job. I loved everything about being a stenographer. I actually want to go back to freelancing again once in a while because I love it that much. But
That's
this is
great.
more of a different kind of job for me because I have more freedom and because you can make it whatever you want to make it. You can make it whatever you want to make it. I could go make somebody laugh for an hour, make myself laugh, laughing with them, because I genuinely laugh with people when they're laughing with me. I
Yeah.
genuinely read the comments and I'm laughing with them. It makes you forget about reality. You know what I mean? For a little bit.
It does.
It
It
does.
does. It does. And there are what I feel most grateful about, and I'm hearing that you probably feel the same way, is we both had full ass lives before
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
This was
Yep.
not my first experience. When
This wasn't your plan.
my daughter at 10, she just changed her tune this year with me, but I think throughout her 9 and early 10, it was like, well, it was like the a little bit of the rebuttal of like, well, you have your phone. Well, you're on your phone, or
Yes.
well, you
Yes.
have social media. And I'm like, excuse me, do you want me to list? You want to
Not the
see my
same.
LinkedIn? Want to see
Yeah.
my LinkedIn? All the
Yes.
shit I did in
To get
my
here.
life
Mm-hmm.
before this
Yes.
give me a totally different perspective of what this is.
Yes.
I'm doing this so that I could be with my kids. They haven't started seeing it that way until now. But the
Right.
sacrifices that you make when you're working, when your kid's homesick and you're at
Yep.
work, and all you can think about is them, and there's this tearing guilt. So, how has it changed your life as a mom?
Gives you the freedom. I was gone 6:30 at night, got home 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I had to print out transcripts. I was on trial. I working overnight. Loved it, loved it, loved it. But it was a different life. You worked nights, you worked weekends. This, I am grateful, so grateful and lucky where I could work and I could be home more and I can have my whole life. I was constantly going, 15 different things, doing different jobs, working here, working there. And I was grateful, blessed, and lucky enough where I could do this right now and figure out if I have to do other things
Yeah.
to figure it out, to figure out life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To get by, to do this, to do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Do you, thinking about your lifestyle, do you have a vacation each year? Like, do you take a vacation?
No, I, as an adult, I never went on vacation, but I just recently had a show in Florida. And I said, how could I go to Florida and not take him to Disney? And I made it a surprise for him. And I busted my ass to get this together and to get him to Disney because I had two shows and I had to bring a babysitter, which are very hard to find because they're far and few to be able to come with you. And I busted my ass to take him to Disney. And we did that. And we went to Disney. Now I was so grateful for that. I was so, so grateful for that. I wish I would have knew more about Disney because I wasted a lot of money not
Oh,
knowing I
girl,
didn't
you
need
got me
certain
now.
things.
You got me
Yeah,
now.
I didn't need certain things that I bought. The bracelets, I thought you needed it. I wasted a lot of money, but surprised him. He did it, and I feel like that was an accomplishment for me that I was able to do something for him like that. Not because it was Disney, oh, it's so materialistic, but in my head, as a woman, I was able to get this whole thing, work, figure it out, and take him.
That's how I
And
feel.
I'm glad I got to do
That's
that.
what Disney represents to me too. Again,
Yes,
we're speaking on behalf of our generation of like the thrill that we get from the things that we know were huge when we were growing up. My
yes,
grandparents took
yes,
me every year. We did it completely differently than I do it with my kids. We did it nickel, it was on a blue collar old school
yes,
budget. And
yes.
now when I do things with my kids, I'm like, I'm so freaking proud of myself that I
That was a
can do
proud
this.
accomplishment for me that I was able
Yes.
to take him to Disney and I was able to go and we were able to go. That
What
was a
was your
big thing for
favorite
me.
part? What was your favorite part of Disney?
The favorite part, well, I couldn't do too much there. I only went to Magic Kingdom because I was dying to go to Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom is a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful experience. And I was lucky enough, grateful enough, and blessed enough to be able to take him. That was
I
a
love
big
that. I
moment for
love you.
me.
I mean, talking to you, I'm like, oh my God, you're so much more than, the funny joke. There's so much depth
Aw, thank
and
you.
like the
Thank you
old
very
school
much.
ways we need
Yeah.
more of.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it back a little bit. I try to be like that with him. I try to be like that with him, and my father does that with him. I'm grateful and lucky to have my mother and father, and he, instills that in him. Different, the way that I grew up wasn't so
Yes.
bad. I thought it was so bad. It wasn't so bad. Certain things were. My father was a little bit too much with certain things, but not everything.
Is
Yeah,
he
different,
different as a grandpa?
very different. Well, he had only girls, three girls, so now he has eight boy grandchildren.
Oh my gosh.
We all
Well,
had
how is
boys, me and
how
my
is he
sisters.
different though than see? Because my dad used to say that when he would see his dad with me. He'd be like,
Yes.
"Oh my gosh, night and
Yes,
day from
yes.
fatherhood to grandfatherhood." So
My father with him is different, but my father was different too. Again, back in the day, mentality was different. Girls, we were girls, and you had a certain role that you played as a girl, certain things. It was different. It was just a different generation. You can't describe it. It was just a different generation. So he treated us differently because he's a boy. He treats him differently. He is that way, my father. That's just the way that I grew up, and that's how he's, doing things with him. Yeah.
was he like because I think for me as a single mom, I'm always trying to figure out I have to play bad cop, good cop, all the
Yes.
cops, all the hats, all the things.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm like, it was on the way home from California. It was me and my two kids in the seats for a 6-hour flight. There was an older couple behind us where when we stood up, they looked at me and they said, "Good job." And I looked like, when do you ever get compliments as a mother? You really
Yeah.
don't.
You
And
don't.
they're
You
like,
really don't.
your kids were so well behaved to the point where we didn't even know they were here. And I'm thinking, I was just like 10 minutes before that being like, sit down, keep buckled till the
Yes.
plane lands,
Because you're
like keep
so
it
worried. Yeah. You're so worried what, like, you're going to be, what they're going to do and what's going to be perceived as and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Right. And
different.
I don't give myself enough credit for
You
doing
don't.
a good job with them. I'm always
Yeah.
like, all right, it's like you on the next thing. Are we doing well in school? How's your
Yes.
behavior? Are you whining too much? Like,
What's
I'm
happening
always on
now?
myself. Are you
Yes. Me
like that
too.
too?
I'm always on myself. I will never give myself credit. I never do. I never do. And I realize that because it's been told to me, like, why don't you ever? And I just don't. It's just the way that I am.
And that's okay. We don't need to change that. Like
Yeah.
I'm feeling talking to you. I'm feeling more like myself because I'm like, oh, she's like
The same
similar.
way. It's the same thing. More
Yeah. And
normalcy
I
of what.
already know my mom she doesn't know I'm interviewing you today. My mom is going to love this episode because she's going to be like,
Ah,
see,
yeah. You think, you don't know how normal what you do is till you speak to other people.
yeah.
You
Well,
don't
because you
know.
also see a lot of totally different parenting styles around you.
Everybody's got their own. Yeah, everybody's got their own, but I never force mine on anybody, and
Right.
people shouldn't force theirs on other people. Because,
Right.
well, I do this and you should do, I don't do that. I'll always say to
Absolutely.
my friend, I have a very good friend. She parents differently than me. And I'll say to her, oh, if you want, she'll say to me, why don't you try? I'm like, nah, I don't, all right. Or I'll say to her, well, why don't you tell them to? And if we don't do that, like, we're not about that. Like, I don't tell you how to be a person. Don't tell me how to be a parent. Don't.
You just like scream it louder for all the people who want to get into, you do a silly post and all of a sudden there's like the woman telling you that that's not right. And I'm like, then you do what's best for
Yes.
you. And only I know what I'm really doing when this camera's not
Yes.
on
Right.
freaking all day, every day.
You don't
So
know my real life. Yes.
every mom
Yes.
listening, do what is best for your family. Don't compare yourself to other parents.
Don't. Whatever,
Only you
if
know.
your children are loved, fed, and taken care of and are good kids, then guess what? You're doing a great job.
You're winning the lottery at
You're
this
winning the
point.
lottery, right? That's what
Oh
you're
my
doing. You're
gosh.
winning. You're doing a great job.
Oh my
And not
God.
everybody, just because you can't keep up with the Joneses, I can't keep up with the Joneses with him. Just because you can't keep up with the Joneses, don't hate yourself for that. Like, there's going to be somebody that's going to say, well, at least she got to take him to Disney. It took me a long time to take him to Disney. And I went through a lot to get to this point in my life where I'm at. You know, you see people on social media, you don't know what they really went through. You don't know what they've really done. You don't know their situations. You don't know. So you don't know what it took them to get there. When you're on social media, people can make you believe whatever they want. That's just the name of the game on social media. So when you see this person, oh my God, she's gorgeous. You don't know what they really went through. So people have to say, you know what, I don't have this, I don't have that. You don't. But if you do have things that you worked hard for, it's very cliche to say, be proud of yourself.
Yes.
Be proud of
Now,
yourself.
now, when you're out in public, do you like when people come up to you?
Uh, I don't really think of it as anything. Like, if
Yeah.
they do, like, I don't really think of it as, I'm like, hey, what's up? Because I feel like it's just something that you just do. It's just something that you do now. You know what I mean? And I
Yes.
don't see myself as a big deal. 'Cause I
Right.
really truly don't think I am one.
Right.
I really truly don't. So sometimes people are like, oh my God. And I feel like it's because they know me on here for so long. I'm doing this since 2019. So people like, oh my God, I love you. It's because it's like a high school friend,
Yes.
because they know you for so long.
That
You know what I
that's
mean?
what I feel when I watch your content. That's what drew me to you was you're just being you.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
we, also at our age, we see a lot of people who I'm like, oh gosh, I can tell that this is not a
How they really
genuine
are.
thing. And
Yeah.
that's fine. Again, I'll never poo-poo
Do
anyone
you?
else's
Me
world.
neither. Never,
But
never, never.
I just think I have the sixth sense of like what's real, what's fabricated, what's being overly drawn
Yes.
out. And I'm
And why
just
you do?
drawn to
Yes.
like people who are like, you know what? This
Just
is me.
normal.
Take it
Just
or leave it.
normal. Yes. Yes. And it's like that often. Or when people meet you, they're like, oh my God, you're not like whatever. Or that's what I do on there. And this is me here. Social media is a job for me. It became a job for me. I enjoy it. I love it. I am so grateful to the Lord up above that He gave me this opportunity. I really am.
Yes.
And to do things like this. But that's my job. So when people like you'll see them, tell me a joke. I said, I don't tell you a joke because I'm not telling jokes. So something like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, like some people. And I'm like, I'm not telling you a joke. I don't know what you're talking about. Or, oh, I didn't know you were like this. You're not like that on there. I said, because that's when we're having fun and it's a job and it's from reality. But this is how you really are. Like, this is how we really are. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget. It's funny to have my kids, like, especially I'm just thinking of being in the Disney parks and the people who come up to me in the Disney parks. And I remember the first year that it was happening, I felt so weird, not for me, but for my kids.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder what I would feel like if I were a kid and this was so I was so
Well, he
conscious,
would
like,
say, "What's you know her? Where do you know her from?" And I would just say school or something like that because to explain it to him, he wouldn't get it. Like I do this and I do that. He didn't know, but now it's just normal to him because
yes.
it is what
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
My
Yeah, it's
kids
just
will get
normal.
back to the resort and they'll like mock me and the other moms. They'll be like, "Oh my God, are you Nikki Marie?" And I'm like,
Yes,
I'm glad they're
yes,
using humor.
yes,
And I try to talk to them about it. Like, here's why this happens. And moms, just trying to be
yes,
positive for other moms.
yes.
You won't understand till you're a
Won't
mom.
understand it till you're older. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He doesn't
Yeah.
even ask me questions about anything. It's just like normal to him now. He'll wait and things like that. He doesn't
Yeah.
even ask
Yeah.
me anything anymore. It just became normal because he this whole his whole life I've been like
Yeah.
this. Basically his whole
Does he
life.
think you're funny?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. I don't even think I am. Sometimes I laugh at myself in life and some things that I do, like what a moron you look like. But or my sisters, because we're all the same. But I don't even find myself funny. I go, why are people, and I say it to them when they come to the shows sometimes. I don't even know what you guys think. Like, it's hard to believe. It's
It's
hard to
because
imagine.
it's a dry, sarcastic delivery, and that's the way you grew up.
That's what it is, how I really
That was
grew
the way
up.
you all talked to each
Yes, the
other in the
stories you
house.
tell are really how we grew up, really what we said, really how you were spoke
Oh,
to.
yeah.
It's really the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, a few fun questions before we close
Go
up.
ahead.
And I just want to tell you, I got more out of this interview than I intended on. I thought
Really?
when I was going to interview you, I thought we'd be a lot more, all right, here's the show and here's like the comedy and here's
Yeah.
why I love this. And I'm like, wow, I'm learning about a human being that has like
Oh,
so
wow.
many different like it's going to make people love you more, I think,
Oh my
personally.
God. Thank you so
It's
much. I
it's just
appreciate that a lot. And I'm grateful that you asked me to be on here. And I really, really appreciate that. And you saying that to me means a lot. Thank you
yeah.
so much. That means a
Well,
lot to me.
You're welcome. I sometimes see your stuff and I'm like, I wonder how she feels with like all of these creators trying to do stuff that you've been doing all along. You know what I mean? It's got to feel a little bit weird to be an OG and to
Yeah.
see it,
I'm around
right?
for so long. I'm doing
Yeah.
this since
Yeah.
2019. Literally, since 2019, I'm making these videos. And in life, I've learned things happen. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I go on social media, I make my videos, and then I get off. And people will send me messages and say things and write. And I just like, I don't even pay
Yeah.
attention half the time, but I see what everybody else sees. I know what everybody else knows. But here's the thing about people sometimes, what they don't understand. And I'm going to say this. I don't like to ever say, and I don't say this ever. Oh, my fans. I don't like to look at it like that. We're all people, we're all, adults and this and that. We enjoy each other's company. I say, like my friends on social media. Certain people that are new to this think that those people are like not going to say something. And a lot of people you hear a lot of chatter. You hear a lot of chatter being brought to me. Do I leave it alone? Yeah. What am I going to do? Say, you said about me. Some people you think are your friends, and this thing makes you realize, unfortunately, you know, sometimes who people are.
Yeah.
It does. It makes you
Yeah.
realize who people are. You're trying to make genuine, we're older now. I'm not a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
And then you hear so and so said blah, 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 blah about you. And I go, what?
Yeah.
Because they want
Yeah.
to do this, but you're doing this. And it's like so crazy when people say, oh, everybody's like that and everybody's like this. When you're a comedian, and I've learned this, if you see somebody joking about something, that's their material. That's their job. So when you're duplicating it, what are you going to do? But it's their job. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I can't
Yeah.
describe it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean on duplicating. I think the hardest thing for me is to ever feel misunderstood. Like, even if it's like a small business and I wear their hat and, months later I wear the hat and I don't tag the brand because I don't even realize I'm wearing the
Yeah,
hat.
yeah,
To them, they're like, she did not tag me
yeah,
on
yeah.
purpose. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's
I didn't mean
kind
to
of
do it.
some of the
Yeah.
stuff ruins it for other business who would just love to have you.
We're just trying to do everything. I
Yeah.
mean, I love if I support a small business and they're like, oh my God, I did good. Sometimes it doesn't take off. They don't ask me for anything. I don't say, you got to pay me. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I want to just help people and do things like that.
Yes.
A small business. Why not? If you could do that, do it. And if you could do something a little bit forward, just do it. But It's just not everybody's going to be happy with you. Not everybody's going to be happy for you. Not everybody's going to be your biggest fan. Not everybody's going to want good things for you. And I've learned a phrase that since I started working, that a girl used to say all the time. It's unfortunate. And she always said that about things. It's unfortunate that people are the way they are, talk the way they talk about you and to you. Things people say when they're not in front of you. It's unfortunate. But I've learned in life, everything that I've went through in life, nothing shocks me anymore. Nobody shocks me anymore. I expect the worst, hope for the better in life. And it's unfortunate how things can change people. Like, when you think you have somebody in your life that, oh, wow, this is not, and then something changes them, whether it's social media, and they become a different person. I never changed. I was always the same, whether I was on a red carpet in Manhattan in Times Square, or I'm sitting on my couch in my pajamas. I put on a dungaree jacket to look like I was dressed. Yes. I don't change. I don't care about any of it. As long as I could turn around and say at my night, thank you, Jesus, God, son, my family, my 2 or 3 friends that I have. And I leave it at that, because it's very hard, because you see a different side of people, especially when social media gets involved and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? But it doesn't shock me anymore. Yeah. People don't realize that the birds tweet, but they come by everybody's house. So everybody hears them tweet, not just you. So what you say to somebody is going to be said to everybody, and it's unfortunate. And I've heard things said, and people, and life is unfortunate, things like that. But what are you going to do? You say, all right, what's next? Yeah. You save the tears for the end.
Yeah, I think this could be helpful. So there's so many people that want to do content. So I think this was a great conversation about like the thick skin and the knowing who you are.
If you don't have thick skin, do not make your page public. Right. Do not. Keep it private.
And that's why our kids, when my daughter asked me when she could have social media, I'm like, whoa, she's tried to dabble on like a, private TikTok account and stuff. And I'm like, girlfriend, I'm protecting you just like your dad. You don't realize it until you're older, and hopefully they'll be saying, Mom, and thank you. Thank you for making me eat healthy, and thank you for making me.
Yes, it's the truth. It's the truth. But if you don't have thick skin, don't even think of coming on here, because it's again, the devil's playground. Yeah. It's the devil's playground, and you're going to lose a lot of friends in doing this, and a lot of people that, not even friends, a lot of people sometimes that you think will like genuine to you aren't. They're not. And you find that out, you figure that out. And it's unfortunate, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Life goes on.
It's life, and it makes you stronger, and you just keep on the course.
You just keep going. Keep going. We're all grateful. If you wake up every day, you could breathe, you could walk, you could talk. Blessed.
Absolutely. Blessed. Thank you so much for being here and spending time to get
Thank you so much
your
for having
technology right and all that stuff.
Please. I got to put all the books back, because I'm neurotic and I want them right back where they were in that corner.
Oh, poor Jay. This is why I have Jay. Yeah. Well, thank you. Where can we find you on social? What's your handle?
One Funny Lisa Marie.
Awesome. And then check out her comedy show. I'm going to see if I can nick it down there. My mom would love it.
Well, tell me which one you want to come to. Even if it's sold out, I'll let you guys come. I know a guy.
Oh my gosh. I know a guy. All right. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much. All right.
Much
Thanks everyone for listening. Share this with someone who he needs to hear it. Thanks for being here. Love you guys.